So I'm bringing all my wires in. They all start at this one location and they branch out. And every circuit will be labeled. Every circuit is going to be safely attached and bonded, grounded. Thank you. Every wire gets labeled at both ends, here and on the other end, and even along its travel from point A to point B, there are labels. Nowhere, no time in this van are you going to be saying, I wonder where that wire goes to. There's no wonder. There's no wondering. Everything's going to be labeled. Everything's going to be marked. This is the 120 circuit I'm working on today. I started my day by getting set up. My tools, my plan, my new label maker. To avoid kinking and entanglement, I hung my wire spool directly under the location for the distribution panel. This kept things under control. I'm working on my AC lines today. 110, 120 volt AC. I'm working off a diagram that I made. All my lines, look at the lens. All my lines originate right here. This is where your breaker panel is going to be. I'm taking one from the yachting world. It's going to be a beauty. All the lines are labeled, as you know, at both ends, as well as within their runs. So wherever you are, you're going to know what wire is what. It's labeled every step of the way. Over here, I've got my refrigerator freezer, my isotherm drawer refrigerator runs on 120 volt AC from shore power, or it'll run directly off the battery DC. I'll be running my DC lines next. I've also got a line here for a microwave up here above the refrigerator. If you want one, the microwave line is there for you. I've got an outlet on this side of the galley. This can be used for your Vitamix, your crock pot, your induction cooktop. You can plug anything else in out here. I'm going to position it towards this side of the galley rather than in here because I'm leaving this space open for you. So as you're living in the van, you may find there's something you want to put here, wide open. There are several spaces like that around the van. I'm not filling in with cabinets and boxes and furniture. Leaving it open. Live with it. You decide what you want there. Because I've done that with the PW. I've actually removed things so that I could repurpose that area. Long-winded. That's why the outlet's out here on the galley and not closer to the wall. It gives you room to make your changes. I got another outlet on this end of the galley. See the label? I don't know if you can see that. This one, same thing. Induction cooktop, crock pot, coffee maker, Vitamix to mix all of your vegetables. What else? Oh, down this end. I ran another 120 line. It's not this line. This is an extra that's going up front under the headliner. I ran a 120 line with a receptacle down here. That's going to be the foot of your bed. That's going to be the head of your bed, right, when you're sleeping. So that outlet can handle 2 CPAP machines if need be. Your head's right up at that end of the bed. That's where your CPAP would go. Now, you say, well, what if I want my head at this end of the bed? No problem. I'm going to give you an outlet here. I got an outlet that's going to go outside, 110 volt, right? AC. I'm going to tap off of that, and I'm going to give you another outlet inside back here. Sometimes you're working back here, the doors are open, you need to plug something in. So that's going to be very convenient. This is my shore power for AC. So I'm going to be burying this in the floor, and then it's going to go underneath. I'll have a tow hitch back here, and the shore power connection will be right alongside that tow hitch. Very discreet. I don't want to put any holes in the van if I can help it. I want to keep it stealthy. I don't want it to look like a camper. Yeah, we got fans and an air conditioner on the roof, but I don't want to put any holes in the side of the van. Everything's going to be done discreetly. I'm running some of my DC lines today, but I'll really get into DC tomorrow. On the AC side, I ran 100 feet of 12 gauge wire, 12.3 for AC, 120 volt. And I'm still left with 2 circuits to run. So 100 feet was not enough to do this van. And I was very efficient. I tried to keep my runs as short as possible. I still have an outlet at the foot or the head of the bed, depending on how you want to sleep in here. And I got to run a 120 volt line over to my S-bar glycol reservoir, because you can heat the glycol off of 120 volt shore power if you're connected, and you won't have to burn the diesel. That's an option. I have it, so I'm going to put that in. I have been doing a lot of studying. I have wired houses. I'm very familiar with AC and how to wire. DC, not so much. So I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm not a professional. I don't claim to be. Just like I went out to Ohio to have the good people at Advanced RV put in a few of the systems that I felt were above my head at this point. Then I went to Indiana and they put this whole install together. I could have never done, well, they don't let you do this actually, unless you're certified, but I would have never attempted these things. Mama didn't raise no dummy. I know what my limitations are. That doesn't mean that I'll forever be a dummy. No, I'm learning and I'm working at it. I'm a student of life. So, DC. I'm seeing some van builders using solid core wire, like Romex that you'd put in your house. That's no good. In a van, it's moving, there's vibration. You got to use stranded. Stranded is more flexible, it's more forgiving, it absorbs vibration. If you think about it, current runs along the surface of the conductor, not through it, on the surface. So if you think about the surface area in stranded wire as compared to solid core, I'm thinking you get better flow. But I'll have to get a confirmation on that. That's just me and my early reading. Another thing you're not supposed to do in a van is use these wire nuts. These wire nuts are only for solid core wire, solid strand wire. They shake loose if you use them, and then they break your conductors. They do another thing which is called bird caging. Have you ever pushed a stranded wire and it starts to fray? No good. You need every one of those conductors. Every one of them. They're as important as an individual vote. How do you like that analogy? So you don't use wire nuts. You use crimp-on terminators, crimp-on unions. There's 2 types. There's a ring terminator and there's a fork. Actually, there's a third. There's a fork with prongs on the end. And they did that to circumvent one of the shortcomings of the fork terminator. This is by yachting standards. If you've got an outlet, plug. It's got to be a GFI, first of all. Second of all, you do not put stranded wire into those speed holes in the back of a receptacle. And I wouldn't even wrap the strand around the screw on each side of the receptacle. I would terminate this in a ring terminator, crimp it on, and then screw the ring terminator to each side of the receptacle. Fork terminators, if that screw vibrates loose, a fork terminator will just pop right off and short, cause a fire. That's why the ring terminators are required, because if that screw does vibrate loose, and I think they do, the ring will still stay on the screw. Now there's some times where you can't get the screw out and you've got to use a fork terminator. And then they've got, but if you really think about it, if a screw comes loose, the fork is going to pop right out. They've got prongs on some of these fork terminators to try to prevent that from popping off a loose screw. If you've got to use a fork, what I would do is I would cut a ring terminator on the side, just large enough to hook it. Instead of making a fork, I would make a hook out of a ring terminator and hook it on the screw and tighten it down. That way, if it comes loose, there's only one place where it's going to fall off. You've got a better shot at maintaining continuity. It's one of my vocabulary words, continuity. Could be a little better though, right? Look, Molly. Look, no, sit. Come here. Right here. Sit. Sit. Here. Stay. Molly, look. Sit. Sit. Look. 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 Molly. Molly. Hey. Look. Look. Here, I got it. Good girl. That's a good girl. Come here. Sit. Stay. 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 Good girl. Sit. Okay, look here. Molly. Okay. I think I got something.